If you are seeing this on January 2026, understand this clearly: you did not arrive here by accident. One full year has passed since the last turning point. A year where intention was tested, not imagined. A year where words meant nothing without action. God does not congratulate you for reaching 2026 because time passed. God congratulates you because you endured the consequences of your choices, and you are still standing with awareness. January 2026 is not a beginning in the innocent sense. It is a continuation under observation. You are no longer new to discipline. You are no longer unaware of your weaknesses. You now know what happens when you delay, when you distract yourself, when you negotiate with comfort. This year does not excuse ignorance. It demands accountability. If God says congratulations on this day, it is because you survived a year that was meant to expose you. Expose your habits. Expose your excuses. Expose whether you actually respect your own life. Some people collapsed under that exposure. Some numbed themselves. Some returned to old identities. You did not disappear. Even if you struggled, even if you failed at times, you stayed conscious enough to continue. That is why you are here. January 2026 is not asking who you want to become. That question was for beginners. This year asks who you have proven yourself to be when motivation was gone. It asks whether your discipline existed only in speech or in repetition. It asks whether you learned from pain or repeated it. This is a higher level of evaluation. God's congratulations now carry more weight than before, because survival with awareness turns into responsibility. You can no longer blame circumstances. You can no longer wait for clarity. You already know what must be done. The only remaining question is whether you will act with precision or drift again under a new label. January 2026 demands a different kind of seriousness than any beginning you have faced before. Because this is no longer the year of realization, it is the year of proof. The second keynote for this moment is uncompromising. A new year at this level does not ask for hope, it demands a higher standard. By now, you already know that motivation is unreliable. You already know that excitement fades. You already know that saying you want change means nothing if your daily behavior remains the same. January 2026 does not entertain illusions. It exposes them. A standard is not what you say when you feel inspired. A standard is what you do when nothing inside you wants to cooperate. This year is not impressed by words, affirmations, or emotional promises. It only responds to structure. Structure in how you wake up. Structure in how you train your body. Structure in how you guard your attention. Structure in how you recover when you fall off. God's congratulations at the start of 2026 are quiet because they are conditional. They acknowledge that you know better now, and knowing better removes excuses. You are no longer allowed the comfort of saying, "I didn't know." You know exactly how distractions ruin your momentum. You know how inconsistency weakens your confidence. You know how waiting for the perfect moment delays your life. This knowledge is heavy because it means responsibility is fully yours. January 2026 is the year where standards stop being inspirational ideas and become non-negotiable rules you live by. If you do not set them consciously, life will set them for you through consequences. The dangerous thing about reaching this stage is that the ego starts bargaining. It says, "I've already improved," or "I've been through a lot," or "I deserve some ease now." These thoughts sound reasonable, but they are subtle invitations to lower your standard. The warrior does not negotiate with weakness, especially not weakness disguised as self-compassion. True self-respect is not indulgence. It is consistency. It is doing what must be done, even when no one will ever applaud it. A higher standard means your days become predictable in discipline, not chaotic in emotion. You wake up at a fixed time not because it feels good, but because it aligns your nervous system with order. You move your body not because you want results immediately, but because physical neglect always leads to mental instability. You control your input not because the world is evil, but because attention is finite and must be guarded. The January 2026 asks you to live as if your energy is sacred, because it is. Standards reveal themselves most clearly in small decisions. What you do in the first hour of the day, how quickly you reach for distraction, whether you finish what you start, whether you keep promises to yourself. These things seem minor, but they compound into identity. By now, you should understand that confidence does not come from achievement. It comes from self-trust. Self-trust is built when your actions repeatedly match your intentions. Without standards, this alignment never happens. God's congratulations in 2026 are not a reward. They are a warning wrapped in acknowledgement. A warning that the time for casual living is over. That drifting is no longer harmless. That comfort now has a higher cost. When awareness increases, the consequences of ignoring it become heavier. This is why some people feel more pain after growth, not less. It is not punishment. It is feedback becoming sharper. A disciplined standard also means learning how to recover without drama. You will still fail. You will still miss days. You will still struggle. The difference now is that failure no longer becomes an identity. It becomes information. You correct quickly. You return to structure immediately. You do not spiral. You do not narrate your struggle endlessly. You act. This ability to return fast is one of the highest standards a warrior can develop. It separates maturity from emotional intensity. January 2026 also requires you to become ruthless with time. Not aggressive, but precise. You no longer confuse being busy with being effective. You no longer allow endless preparation to replace execution. You understand that most progress is boring repetition done consistently over time. This understanding changes how you move. You stop chasing breakthroughs and start respecting fundamentals. Sleep, training, silence, work, reflection. These are not glamorous, but they are powerful. A higher standard will isolate you at times. Not because you are better than others, but because fewer people are willing to live this way. When you stop complaining, when you stop indulging excuses, when you stop feeding chaos, you become quieter. Some will misunderstand this silence. Let them. Alignment matters more than approval. January 2026 is not the year to explain yourself. It is the year to demonstrate through behavior. There is also a spiritual weight to this standard. Discipline is not separate from faith. Discipline is faith in action. To show up every day without emotional reward is to trust that the process itself has meaning. God's congratulations at this stage acknowledge that you are capable of living without constant reassurance. That you can walk forward without needing signs at every step. This is maturity. The mind will still resist structure. It will try to convince you that rigidity kills creativity, that strictness removes joy. But the opposite is true. Structure creates freedom because it removes decision fatigue. When standards are clear, you do not debate with yourself all day. You act. This clarity frees mental space. It allows depth. It allows presence. January 2026 invites you into this deeper state of living. A true standard also includes how you speak to yourself. No more dramatic self-hatred. No more inflated self-praise. Just honest assessment and correction. Emotional extremes weaken discipline. Calm evaluation strengthens it. The warrior does not insult himself after failure, nor does he celebrate prematurely after small wins. He stays centered. This emotional regulation is part of the standard now. By this point, you should understand that life does not become easier with discipline, but it becomes simpler, fewer regrets, fewer chaotic cycles, fewer moments of self-disappointment. January 2026 offers you this simplicity if you are willing to pay its price daily. The price is effort without mood, action without applause, commitment without certainty. God said congratulations because you reached a level where this is possible. But reaching is not the same as living it. The year ahead will not test your intelligence. It will test your consistency. It will not ask how much you know. It will ask how often you do what you already know is necessary. So let January 2026 be the year your standards become visible through your life, not your words. Let your discipline speak quietly every morning. Let your structure protect you from your own weaknesses. Let your consistency become your prayer. This is what it means to honor the congratulations you were given. By the time January 2026 arrives, the third keynote becomes unavoidable. You cannot enter this year carrying the same identity that survived the last one. Survival was enough before. Now it is not. What is being asked of you at this stage is not effort, but release. Not ambition, but surrender of what no longer belongs to you. God's congratulations in January 2026 are heavier than before because they assume something important. You already know what must be let go. The question is no longer awareness. The question is courage. Every year shapes a version of you. That version is built to handle specific conditions. The problem is that most people grow attached to versions that were only meant to be temporary. You learned certain behaviors to protect yourself. You developed certain habits to cope. You adopted certain beliefs to survive uncertainty. They were useful once, but usefulness has an expiration date. When conditions change, clinging to old tools becomes self-sabotage. January 2026 marks the moment where what once protected you now limits you. Letting go feels threatening because identity feels like safety. The mind would rather suffer predictably than risk uncertainty. This is why people repeat cycles even when those cycles hurt them. Familiar pain feels controllable. Unknown growth feels dangerous. The warrior understands this and still chooses growth, not because it feels good, but because stagnation eventually destroys what survival preserved. God does not congratulate stagnation. God congratulates readiness for transformation. The third keynote asks you to confront the identities you keep rehearsing. The stories you tell yourself about who you are. The labels you repeat when things get difficult. This is just how I am. I work better under pressure. I've always been like this. These statements sound honest, but they are prisons. They remove responsibility by turning behavior into destiny. In January 2026, these excuses no longer work. You have too much evidence. You have seen yourself change before. That means you are not fixed. You are trained. Transformation begins the moment you stop defending your old self. Defense keeps identity alive. Justification strengthens patterns. Every time you explain why you are the way you are, you reinforce it. Letting go requires silence. It requires not explaining yourself to others. It requires not narrating your struggle excessively. Action replaces explanation. Behavior replaces identity. This is uncomfortable because it removes sympathy, but it creates strength. There is also loss involved in letting go. Loss of comfort. Loss of familiarity. Sometimes loss of people. Some relationships are built around who you were when you were undisciplined, distracted, or emotionally reactive. When you change, those connections feel strained. This is not betrayal. It is alignment. You cannot live a disciplined life and maintain bonds that constantly pull you back into old patterns. This separation feels lonely at first, but loneliness is not emptiness. It is space, space to hear yourself again. January 2026 requires you to stop romanticizing your past struggles. Pain taught you, but pain does not need to stay. Many people unconsciously keep their wounds alive because the wounds give them identity. They introduce themselves through what hurt them. They explain their limitations through past experiences. But pain is not a credential. It is an experience. Holding on to it beyond its lesson delays your future. Letting go means honoring what you learned without continuing to bleed. This keynote also demands release of emotional habits, overthinking, self-criticism, emotional swings. These are not personality traits. They are trained responses. Anything trained can be retrained, but only if you stop claiming it as who you are. January 2026 is not kind to emotional chaos. It exposes it quickly. The more aware you become, the more costly emotional reactivity becomes. Discipline at this stage is emotional regulation, not suppression. You feel, but you do not obey every feeling. There is a dangerous moment during transformation where you feel empty. The old identity is fading, but the new one is not yet solid. This emptiness scares people. They rush to fill it with distractions, noise, relationships, or old habits. The warrior does not do this. He allows emptiness to exist, because emptiness is not absence. It is preparation. It is where clarity forms. It is where new standards root themselves. January 2026 invites you to tolerate this space without panic. God's congratulations at this level acknowledge that you are strong enough to exist without a fixed label, that you can act without fully knowing who you are becoming. This is rare strength. Most people need to define themselves loudly because they are afraid of uncertainty. The disciplined person moves quietly, letting identity emerge through consistent behavior. You do not announce change. You demonstrate it over time. Another part of letting go is releasing the need for validation. In earlier stages, encouragement matters. In maturity, reliance on encouragement becomes weakness. January 2026 is not the year to seek applause for discipline. Discipline does not need witnesses. The more you seek recognition, the more fragile your consistency becomes. When validation disappears, so does effort. Letting go of validation creates independence. Independence creates stability. You must also let go of the fantasy timeline, the imagined version of how fast things should have happened. That fantasy creates frustration and pressure. Pressure leads to shortcuts. Shortcuts lead back to old patterns. The warrior respects time. He works daily without arguing with reality. January 2026 is not asking you to be further. It is asking you to be aligned. Alignment compounds faster than impatience ever will. Stress will test whether you truly let go. Stress always reveals default identity. If you have not consciously released the old self, it will return under pressure. This is why this work must be done now, in calm moments. Letting go is a discipline practiced before chaos arrives. When life becomes difficult again, and it will, you will not have time to decide who you are. You will act from what you have trained. So understand the seriousness of this keynote. It is not poetic. It is practical. Something in you must end so something stronger can continue. Not because you were wrong before, but because you have outgrown that version. Keeping it would be disrespectful to the effort you already made. January 2026 is not asking you to become someone new overnight. It is asking you to stop carrying what you no longer need. Less emotional baggage, fewer excuses, fewer explanations, more presence, more precision, more restraint. God said congratulations, because you are ready for this release. Whether you actually let go will determine the weight of the year ahead. As this message comes to an end, understand that endings are never about words. They are about decisions. What you have heard is not meant to inspire you for a moment and then fade. It is meant to settle inside you quietly and change how you move when no one is watching. If God said congratulations for bringing you to January 2026, it was not to make you feel special. It was to remind you that you are still responsible. You have reached a point where you can no longer pretend you do not know. You know the cost of distraction. You know the weight of wasted time. You know how painful it is to live out of alignment with your own standards. This knowledge is now your burden and your power. From this point forward, every excuse will feel heavier and every disciplined action will feel lighter. This is not punishment. This is maturity. Do not rush to prove anything after this moment. Do not announce change. Do not chase validation. Let your silence become your strength. Let your mornings become your discipline. Let your consistency become your identity. The world does not need to hear what you plan to do. It will see what you repeatedly do. There will be days in this year when motivation disappears completely. On those days, remember this moment. Remember that you were not congratulated for potential, but for endurance. Stand up anyway. Move anyway. Act according to your standard, not your mood. This is how warriors are formed, through action taken without emotional reward. If you fall, return quickly. Do not dramatize failure. Do not punish yourself. Correct and continue. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about loyalty to your path. Stay loyal even when progress feels invisible. Especially then, January 2026 will not be kind to those who drift, but it will be powerful for those who stay aligned. You do not need to be extraordinary. You need to be consistent. You do not need to know the entire road. You need to take the next disciplined step. So carry this forward quietly. Guard your attention. Respect your time. Honor your energy. Let each day be a small confirmation that the congratulations you received were deserved. Walk forward with calm strength. Live with intention. And let your discipline speak when words no longer matter.